Cecil Lammey, NFL Insider, ESPN Denver, senior writer, footballguys.com. Cecil, we have a very large contingent of audience members out in Denver, and I'd be remiss if I didn't touch on some Denver Bronco talk, whispers, things that you've been hearing. So very quickly, before we let you go, because we could talk to you all day about the NFL Combine.
Definitely.
But Denver is in a tricky spot. They have a lot of holes to fill, yet they have a very low draft pick at 25. Now, it seems Nate Irving is going to be the middle backer of the future. At least that's what reports have been said. We have some rookies in the safety spot. The tight end position in this draft class is not very strong in terms of overall how good they are. So it really comes down to running back, defensive tackle, which has been a void for the last 6, 7, 8 years, and getting younger at corner. But it's hard to think that they're going to get younger at corner because behind Champ and Andre Goodman, you have nothing but youth. So what I want to ask you, what are you hearing out of Denver for that first?
Well, first and foremost, we talked about Robert Griffin, and reports came out, it was in fact good friend Bill Williamson that ran with it. Something that we had heard around Denver in October, I think, was the first time I heard that the Broncos would have interest in Robert Griffin. They really did their homework on Robert Griffin. Now, from 25 to 2 guys, I mean, that's almost impossible. You see what the Falcons did for Julio Jones last year in catapulting them and getting up and trading up with Cleveland, setting Cleveland up for this draft. With so many teams, Washington would give whatever. I mean, Mike Shanahan would give a lung to get Robert Griffin. I don't think the Broncos are in a position to get RG3. So we'll throw that out the window, but just know that the interest is there, and it was there back during the college football regular season. It was there very, very early. I see that as a pipe dream to get RG3. Your quarterbacks are coming through free agency. I'll talk about that a little bit later. You brought up Nate Irving. From what I've gathered from my sources, the Ravens are going to do their damnedest to keep Jameel McClain around. That was the player through free agency that I wanted the Broncos to get more than anybody else in free agency, more than Brandon Carr, more than Mike Tolbert.
Why is that?
More than making a run at Vincent Jackson. Jameel McClain filled in this last season for Ray Lewis when Lewis had the toe injury. Ravens went 5-0. You think, okay, well, yeah, they got a strong defense, whatever. And yes, that's very true. They do. But it was McClain who was calling the defensive audibles. This kid is very smart. He's very strong. He's stuck around. He's learned in Baltimore from one of the best in Ray Lewis. Perfect fit at the inside linebacker position. Nate Irving is such a question mark. I think Joe Mays is gone in free agency. Sure, you can sign him to a sweetheart deal, whatever. I don't see that as a reasonable option for the Denver Broncos. And listen, I love Joe Mays. He's just not good enough at that position. You need the Al Wilson again. You need Al Wilson 2.0. This Broncos defense hasn't been the same since that unfortunate neck injury took Al Wilson out of the game. Jameel McClain is that guy. He's the gem, the kind of the under-the-radar gem of the free agent class at the inside linebacker position. But from what I've gathered, and Baltimore knows it. A lot of people out there may not be as familiar with this game, but Baltimore knows this is the guy that takes over for Ray Lewis when Ray Lewis is done at the end of 2012, most likely. So they're going to do everything they can. Here's the problem. They got to pay Ray Rice. They're probably going to franchise him. They're trying to work out a long-term extension. Joe Flacco wants top 5 quarterback money. That's a lot. They may not have the dollars, and the Broncos with $50 million to play with. John Elway, during his press conference at the Combine, off my question, said, Mr. Bowman will give us every resource possible. People want to say, oh, the Broncos are broke, or they don't have the money. No. They've got the cash. They've got the cap. They could be bigger players in free agency. And this is where Vincent Jackson would come in. Bring him back to Colorado. He was a high school star in the Colorado Springs. He was a collegiate star up in Greeley at UNC. Bring him back to Colorado. It's going to take a lot of money to do it, but they have the money to do it, and they have the need to do it because, in my eyes, you move Eric Decker to the slot. I love Eric Decker, but he can't gain separation. You can press him all day, get in his back pocket, and he's never open. And what do we know about Tebow? If you're not open, he's not going to throw it. He's not going to make those tight window throws. So put Decker in the slot. If you get a guy like Vincent Jackson to start opposite Demaryius Thomas, it gives you some punch in the passing game. Now, Nate Irving aside, a big question mark there. Another big question mark, those two safeties you mentioned. Raheem Moore, frankly, just looked lost this last season. Can he elevate his game? And then Quentin Carter, who was playing out of position at free safety, by the way, looked decent at times. Still, he's a strong safety. You want him to take over for Dawkins. We'll see if Dawkins ends up retiring. At the tight end spot, I always kind of chuckle when I see the Broncos have a tight end in the mock drafts. You know, hey, they're going to take a tight end. They don't have anybody. I expect them to re-sign Daniel Phelps in free agency.
And drafted two tight ends last year.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got Julius Thomas. Again, high ankle sprain took him out. But at training camp, within 5 days of training camp last year, he went from a fourth-round pick from Portland State to running with the ones. The kid has talent, and I will say this until it's going to be proven this year, because you got to prove yourself quickly in the NFL. You can't just hang around. But Julius Thomas has Gates-like upside. That's the honest truth, the way that he plays this game. But can he develop his raw skill set? Virgil Green is there, good pass catcher, not really a good blocker. And I will highlight this. John Fox doesn't use the tight end. Yes, it would be great for Timmy, because guess what? Aaron Hernandez and Tim Tebow, that's pretty good down in Florida. But let me tell you this, Wesley Walls, we all remember him from the days in Carolina.
That's right.
He went from an 80-catch guy to a 35-catch guy. Look at the numbers. As soon as John Fox arrives in Carolina, Walls' numbers cut in half. Guy just doesn't use the tight end position. So I don't see that as being a need for this team. D-tackle, they liked on Terry Poe. He's probably not going to be there.
You don't think he's going to be there at 25? You think his 10% of the combine today made him jump up that high? Because previously he was ranked as the fourth best defensive tackle.
Right.
Are you saying he's the first D-tackle taken?
No, that'll probably be Michael Brockers, just because Brockers, everyone's tossing around JPP as the comparison. I'm an LSU honk. I know Brockers' agent. I know Brockers' game. I'm not going to put him on JPP's level, but he has that potential. He never fulfilled that potential, and that's, I guess, the intriguing part about Michael Brockers from LSU. I could see him going top 10 and probably 9 to Carolina. As far as Dontari Poe, Pittsburgh's sitting right in front of him. You know, if Pittsburgh was behind Denver, then I think, okay, Denver maybe can steal him away, but Pittsburgh's right there. So if Cincinnati passes on this kid, if Seattle passes on this kid, then it's going to get to Pitt right in front of Denver, and Pitt would probably take Dontari Poe. Jerrell Worthy should be there. I don't think Devin Still's going to be there. There's going to be, you know, it's all about pass rushers, quarterbacks, and that's the premium. You know, it's a quarterback-driven league. It's a quarterback-desperate league, and it's desperate to get after those quarterbacks. So these D-tackles, these DNs, very, very important for this class. Running back, you can get in the second round Doug Martin from Boise State, who had a very good Senior Bowl, very good scouting combine, great interview.
Does he last? Does Doug Martin last to the Broncos' second round pick, or are they going to have to make some trades to get up there very quickly? Because we have 30 seconds left with you, and I know Denver's wanting to know this.
You'd have to maneuver a little bit, but they're at 57 in the second round. Ray Rice was a second-round pick, and he was 55. So there's a chance that Martin could be there. And cornerback, you can get a cornerback in the third round. Tremaine Johnson, the kid from Montana, and Josh Norman, my guy from Coastal Carolina.
Cecil Lammey, NFL Insider, ESPN Denver, senior writer for FootballGuys.com. Cecil, one name. Who does Denver take at 25?
They're going to take Jerrell Worthy.
Jerrell Worthy. All right, Denver fans, you heard it here. Cecil Lammey.